Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews. Before we get into this review of the most recent chapter of My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, chapter number 83, it's a quick little update, and I do want to apologise as well, on my apology, because a lot of these chapters releases are late, especially my reviews. So with this back end of the tail end of this week, it's actually been really busy personally. Home life, work life, there's a big change happening in my life at the moment. So due to this had this big update. I can't really talk about what's actually going on just yet. It's an exciting time in my life at the moment, and hopefully this will mean bigger and better things for this channel, for my other channel, and a lot more creative stuff. There's a few busy days coming up in the future as well. We are going to go on a road trip from where I'm living now up in Yorkshire down to London. I'll talk about that closer to the time due to work and another exciting period of my time. For the next 6 weeks, just bear with me. I will do my best. Just to kind of give you an update of things I have to do for this channel, just bear in mind that I've got this one as well. So, Fairy Tail and 7 Deadly Sins dropped early. They normally drop on a Sunday or a Monday. For some reason they've dropped today or yesterday. So what we're gonna have to do with this is I will be reviewing them on Monday, so don't expect anything early with that. Black Clover will be either on the Monday or the Tuesday as well. We've also had finally a scanned release of 2 chapters of NN no Shubatai. I will be updating my schedule, but NN no Shubatai will normally be getting reviewed on a Wednesday with Hinamaru Zuma, which is still behind. I will be doing that review on the Tuesday or Wednesday as well. So today we've got Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia and World Trigger. Apologies about this, I want to get this out early first just so we can move on, so you know what to expect the next couple of weeks. And like I said, exciting times. You'll hear more of an update on my channel about what's going on in my life, and look forward to that. But that's just the intro. I'll see you in a bit. And so, the review that you've all been waiting for. Or you might not, because I've only really got 37 subscribers, but you know what I mean. I was excited about it. I've been reading it over and over, thinking a lot of different things, wanting to get it out there. So without further ado, let's get into this review. There's going to be no cuts, let's get straight into it. So point number 1, it's the aftermath of the battle. I'm going to read my notes. It's the aftermath of the battle. We were defeated. It's important though to bear in mind that you can't win them all. So the fact that every single time we win, we get a bit over, ahead of ourselves. We think, yeah, we can always win. The good guys are always going to win. It's not always going to be the case. And I really like the fact that the mangaka has done this, just flipping the switch, having a bit of a change up, because it's important to, get rid of this idea that right now our heroes can do it all. They can't. The students that are in development, they need these setbacks now so that they can be ready for the future when they are in those positions. Because bearing in mind, from the beginning till now, they've been in extreme situations, and like they say with coal, you put a lot of pressure on it, it becomes a diamond. That's what these people are, the diamonds in the rough. But anyway, let's get on to the results. So apparently 15 were in critical condition. I'd imagine Izuku was one of those, because to be fair, he's always one of those. 13 were uninjured, which is always a positive sign, but if you think about it, out of the 40 students, that's still quite a low amount in comparison to the rest. 11 ranged from minor to severe injuries, but they weren't in critical condition. And one, as you know, was missing, Bakugo. Another person that was actually missing, heavily wounded, was a Pussygat, which was interesting. That's an interesting point to kind of bear in mind for future. Now, what was interesting was a confirmation of a Takuyomi. Because for me, watching the last few chapters, reading the last few chapters, I thought he got taken as well. But I think what may have happened is, in the process of basically trying to save them both, he might have got away and they just took Bakugo, because he was the only one that kind of released in that form. So maybe when it was released, he came out. I'm not sure, I might have missed something. So those that actually take the time to watch this, please, if you leave it in the comment section below. I really enjoy people's input, because I get to connect with my subscribers, my fans, my Clues, Cues and Review Nation. Shout out to you, thank you very much for subscribing, and I really like you commenting, so we can share these thoughts, have that discussion. So really let me know what you think about that. But that's point number 1. And before I go, there were 3 villains that were caught as well. All the rest disappeared. 3 out of 10 isn't bad. I prefer 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, but we will take 3 out of 10 for now for villains caught. That's point number 1. Point number two. I think a good theme for this part of the topic would be guilt, because a lot of the people felt guilty over the situation. This was the team meeting section of the chapter, and they're discussing the results and how is it possible that we could have done this, and you need to be more serious. We've had these sports festival after these, Ultimate Space Jams, for example, that a sports festival, and the villains really knew about his quirk because of the sports festival, and it was kind of a situation where they kind of felt they were to blame, which is partly true if you think about it, because you expose these young students, these young people who haven't fully developed, who haven't got the full capabilities of defending themselves. Not all, most of them though. Against full adults who can get to see and expose and manipulate and abduct these young minds that are supposedly of impressionable age. I know some people are not that impressionable at that age, they're very mature. But anyway, that's a different topic. But they felt to blame, which is perfectly sound judgment, because they need to put better measures in place to protect their students, being that they keep getting attacked over and over. It's like a slap in the face, realistically. So there are the camel's back is nearly broken at this point. The straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So they got to do something about that. And then this whole thing about the mall. So who is the mall in your opinion? So I don't know. I'm just speculating. Could be anybody. The announcer guy made a certain point, but Gastu, the pro, and the lady that was there, names escape me right now. But basically, they made a good point. It could be any one of them really. But it makes no benefit for them to speculate and create that separation. It'll be an interior rift. So they don't really kind of go into it, but it's an interesting point. Now here's another point that's not really been discovered and discussed. What if one of the villains, I'm thinking All For One, the main bad guy, has the ability to actually, because he's taken abilities of other people, has the ability to actually see or read minds, kind of gauge into the future, so to speak. And maybe that's how he survived the fight with All Might and his one for all technique or quirk. And the interesting thing is, what if it is something like that, and what if it isn't the actual thing at all? There's no way you can really defend against that unless there's someone that can block those. But it's interesting. But that's basically point number two. So the question about the mall, people are feeling guilty. All Might is feeling guilty because he wasn't able to help. Even the head teacher's feeling guilty. So there's enough guilt to go around. But that's point number two. Point number three actually had me really hype, because that transformation, that transformation of All Might, you knew when he said payback, he meant it. So to explain, basically All Might gets a call in the middle of the meeting, and it's very unprofessional, as you know. I've never done it. Who of you have actually had that? I had a meeting at work, also very important, and your phone goes off, you get a call. Awkward. But anyway, he gets the call, he leaves the room. It's basically a guy from the police station who knows his situation, headquarters, and he basically says, look, we found some interesting information that we may know the location on the headquarters of the villains. And then that transformation happens, and he goes, yes, it's time for payback. And he's in his All Might form, his proper form. He hulks out. I couldn't help but get excited, but I couldn't help but worry, because if my point two thing about seeing the future and a quirk, something like that, is there, he could be going into a trap, and maybe the villains already know. I'm hoping that's not the case. You never want the main guy to go down, although the main guy is technically Izuku Midoriya, but his idol is this guy. You'd not want to see All Might go down. I don't want to see be a situation like Naruto and Jiraiya Sensei. I don't want to see that happen in this, to be honest. And that's just my personal kind of opinion, my emotional connection to the main man. Because I'm a fan of superheroes. You never want to see Superman or Batman die, right? Same kind of thing. So I don't want to see All Might die. I want to see him teach everything and die of natural causes if he has to. I don't want him dying in the hand of the villain just because he went into a trap, because he's too powerful. He's too, he's too much of a symbol of justice to die that way. But anyway, that was interesting, that was amazing, and that was point number three. Now leading on to point number four. So, point number four is interesting for two different reasons. One, it's the whole Izuku situation. He wakes up from another mission or another event where he's nearly dead. his mum's left some stuff for him to eat, and he's thinking to himself, I always make my mum worry, which is really important. What kind of child are you to make your mother worry? You know, that's a joke. I'm sure he doesn't mean to do it on purpose, but you know what I mean? It's like he's always in that situation. From a reader's point of view, you know, I take the point of view of the father or the mother, I guess. Father we don't know much about, which is interesting, but I digress. But yes, his mother's always worrying about her kid, and her kid's practically nearly dying every time something happens. Now, I think this is going to be a common thing, but how much of an effect is it going to have on this kid's body? You know, you're having to use this power. Don't get me wrong, that power, once he fully utilizes it, that's going to be some craziness. That is going to be some epic. Get your cheeks down on your seat, don't move, don't blink, don't do anything. It's going to be crazy when he fully utilizes that, when he gets his full potential and things like that. And I can't wait to see it. But for the time being, he's going to be damaging his body to like irreparable extent at some point. So that happens, so you worry about that. Now the second point was actually quite interesting. I have to sit back and relax about this one, because many students are still down, and a lot of people are feeling guilty because they failed. And not just Izuku, a lot of the people, Ida, Takeyomi, the guy who's got the balls that stick everywhere, you know, Shuto, they're all there, they're basically all feeling bad. Now, what was interesting is basically the whole thing with the tracker. So the tracker was put on a villain, so they now know the location of the villain. They give a tracker to All Might, but Momo can actually make another one, which is where Kirishima steps up and he goes, we need to do something about this. Ida, being the voice of reason as always, is basically like, look, cool your beans, leave it to the professionals. And I get that point of view, that is a very valid point. But you've got to think sometimes when you see things like this, you think that it is kind of to do with the, how do I put it, the charisma, the charisma, I guess. Kirishima doesn't have the charisma, ironic with his name, to be fair, because Kirishima is like miracles, I guess. I think probably a good translation. I think it's in like in Asian words, Kirishima is like a, I believe it means miracle. Anyway, so he's like stepping up and he's like, yeah, we can do something about it, what do you think we should do? And Ida's like, no, we shouldn't do it. And obviously Shuto, being Shuto, is quite frank and to the point, which is always cool. And Izuku's like, I wanted to help him, but I couldn't. I was in reach, but I couldn't help him. Which is fine, but you know, how long are you gonna solo? You've got to step up, man up. It's interesting that if had Izuku have done that, in my opinion, there would have been a lot more welcoming and warmer to the situation. So it explains that there is a hidden talent to Izuku, that he brings people close to him. He kind of can attract people, kind of like Luffy does in One Piece. So it's an interesting talent to bear in mind. And Kirishima doesn't have that just yet, but I think he's one of those, because if you look at him, you think the guy's well aggressive. I mean, I get him confused with Tetsu all the time. I think Tetsu is just Kirishima on rabies, basically. But anyway, I just think that Kirishima had a lot of energy and a lot of, like, pushed it a bit too much. I think that he could obviously adjust his delivery, but he had a point. However, Izuku isn't in any position to really do anything, so I'm interested to see what happens, and I'd imagine his response would make a bigger impact on what's going to happen. If he says yes, they're doing it, and if he says, look, no, we shouldn't do it, then it won't happen. But the Woody, going back to the original point that I made earlier on, or one of the original points, was, what if it's a trap for All Might? They need to go then. I don't think Izuku can go, but you know, it's an interesting point. So that's point number 4. I'm going to move on to point number 5, which is basically a summary. So, in summary, points, we had 4 points. This is point number 5 in summary. Quite a lot happened. Sets up brilliant. We're going to see a really quick retrieval arc. So, remember we thought we are going to get a retrieval arc. That retrieval arc was really short, really high pace. This is going to be the second attempt at it. Like they say, first you don't succeed, try again. That looks like what's going to happen with this. But what this does now is it puts the villains on the back foot if they don't have a future telling individual in their midst. But we have to see what happens. I'm excited, and also to mention, the anime is coming out very soon. I believe it's coming out on the 4th or the 3rd of April. Whenever it does come out, whenever it hits, I'm going to look to reviewing it. I will be putting up my schedule of things that I'm planning in on my channel. I'll mention it now in this video and on Twitter. if those who don't know, my Twitter is at Saj2k16. And as always with these videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share. If you like, give me a thumbs up, let me know in the comment section below. If there's anything you found interesting and something I missed, let me know in the comment section below. I like that discussion, let's get this involved. It's been a long video, so I won't keep you too much longer. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I will be having a very structured schedule in the future. I will be putting it up on where I can put it up, and hopefully you come back and you see this, and I will be doing this on a regular basis. But that's all for me today, guys. Peace.